Let's go on a hike. Let's go to the mountaintops. Let's go see the mountains show off. Let's go see where angels learn to fly. Let's go on a hike.
So day 51 was a 0 day, and instead of doing any filming or taking pictures, I just decided to share my daily gratitude list with you. Good morning, Fancy Pants and Curious Storage. Subman just dropped me off at the Georgia 52 trailhead, and I will continue on, probably doing about 10 miles today. And yeah, it's cold. It's like less than 20 degrees out right now, so I'm not going to belabor this too long, but it's really pretty. The sun's out. It's going to warm up probably till about 40 or so, so I need to get hiking so I don't get cold. I've got my rain suit pants and jacket on today, which I've not hiked in these before, but it's that cold today that I need the warmth on my legs. All right, check in later. Fancy Pants checking in. So I have yet to do this on trail, but I'm walking and then the trail turns and starts going uphill again, and I get to this blowdown and I said, man, this looks familiar. Turns out I just backtracked. Probably, I don't know if it was a half a mile or how far it was, but yeah, very strange. So I need to turn around and go back this way. I have not done that yet. Didn't even see a trail marking or whatever. I'm going to have to pay attention and see what happens. I'll check in later and let you know how I make out. Fancy Pants and Curious George. Figured it was time for a check-in. What a gorgeous, gorgeous day for hiking. It was cold when I started out, and it's still cold. Having trouble keeping my hands warm, even with the hand warmers. But when I was going up Turkey Mountain, I had to take off one of my layers. So as long as you're moving, it's actually really, really nice. Starting to feel like I'm in the mountains now. I'm going to turn the camera around and walk for just a minute. So I've had some really nice views today. Tried to use my Peak Finder app. Got a couple pictures. I'll throw those in the video for the day. But that mountain, I'm going to stop right up here so you can see it. Right over there. There is actually snow up at the top. It was something like Pow Patch Mountain or whatever. Anyways, we are starting the descent into Mulberry Gap. Mulberry Gap is a really nice place. I tented there when I hiked in 22, but it's not going to work out for my plans this time around. But we will be passing by. It's actually like, I'm going to go out on a limb and say like a mile hike, a mile out of the way to get there. So no need to take that detour today, but oh, there's a better view of the mountain right over there. I got to put my poles down. Bang. I'm going to zoom in and see if you can see the snow on the top. Pretty, huh? Anyway, yeah. Trail conditions are good. I thought maybe there'd be some snow on the trail, but as you can see, there is not. Everything looks nice and dry, so it's easy going. I've gone only about 3 miles so far, and it's like 10:15, so I'm taking my time. Once again, I said I wasn't going to stop and take many pictures because it was cold, but I've been doing exactly that. So anyway, that's enough for now. Check in later. Fancy Pants and Carry Storage, midday check-in. It's almost 1 o'clock, and we've gone about 7 miles, which is good. Have about 3.5 more to go, and the sun is out. There's still a little nip in the air, but this heat from the sun feels so good. I still have my jacket on, obviously, and my hat, but it's not as bitterly cold as it was when I started out this morning. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see where I'm at. Kind of walking up on a ridge. Pretty views to one side, somewhat obstructed by the trees, but you can see the sun is just shining down. It's really nice. And we're going uphill a little bit right now, not too extreme, but the trail has been really nice today. Not too many roots, mostly leaf covered and relatively flat in terms of stuff that I have to step over. Had a fair amount of ups and downs today, but my legs are feeling good, ankles good. It's been a pleasure hiking today so far. I do believe we're going to have some water crossings coming up just before we get to our campsite, and we'll evaluate at that time whether or not we'll need to take our shoes off. I definitely will probably end up doing that because it's supposed to be in the low 20s tonight, so it'll be cold, and I don't want my shoes freezing because they're wet. So I'll definitely be putting them in the end of my quilt tonight so that they don't freeze. Anyway, I think that's about it for now. Good day out on the trail. Check in later. Fancy Pants and Carry Storage. Checking in. We are very, very close to our campsite, less than half a mile. And I'm walking through an area right now I wanted to show you. Somebody has put in a lot of work clearing these blowdowns, but man, this place is a mess. I don't know if it was a tornado that came through or what, but I'm going to turn the camera around so y'all can see. So there's the trail right in front of me. We'll walk down there in a minute. But everywhere you turn, there's just trees and branches, and it's crazy. I am so thankful I do not have to walk through that. Somebody has already cleared it. I don't know how long ago all this damage occurred, but I'm just glad that I can walk through it right now. Somebody had said that crossing the creek that there was a really bad blowdown, so that may be the case, and we may be about to find out about how that is. Holy smokes. Check this out. Everywhere. All right, here's my creek up here. Oh my gosh. How on earth? I can get across the creek, but somehow have to get through that mess on the other side. Yikes. All right, let me put this away and strategize. So, I think what I'm going to attempt to do is use that log right there to cross. And then when I get to the other side, we'll see how to get around those trees. Well, there you go. This was one of those it looks worse than what it actually was kind of situations. I just had to scoot underneath that big log, and it wasn't too bad. I didn't even have to get down on my knees. I just kind of ducked. Good deal. Fancy Pants here. Last check-in of the day. I am going to show you my campsite. This is not the most ideal spot that I've ever had, but I thought it might be interesting to show. So I walked straight by it. See these two? Oh, I'm going to have to turn the camera around. Hold. So the trail is right in front of me, and these two logs indicate the entrance to the site. Well, obviously, since this campsite was mentioned in Far Out, there's been some kind of weather here, storm, tornado, whatever, that went through. And so I went right by it, not even realizing that this was where the campsites were. Well, you walk down here. Hello. This is what you have. Does this look like a campsite? Not really. So anyways, I barely saw what looked like a path and just kept walking over here. And I saw the fire ring, so I knew that this must have been at one time one of the campsites. And luckily, I found a spot big enough to set my tent up. And like I said, it's not the best. I had to go back to the creek to get water because there's no way to access water from here. Maybe there was at one time, but there's not anymore. And so my dinner is ready. I'm going to cut this pretty short, and my stuff is still out. I'll get that all cleaned up before I go to bed. Filtered my water, and you've seen inside my tent before, but I'll just give you a quick peek. There you go. So once I finish eating, I'll be all ready to crawl in. I felt really good today. Did 10.5 miles. And when I first saw this campsite, I thought I was going to have to go on to the next one, but it was another 4 miles, and that would have been a lot. I just didn't have it in me, so I made this particular spot work. Anyways, I will check in tomorrow. That's it for today.